your ancestors. You might not feel like you do not belong here, but you do. So my story of this poem comes from learning my history about my ancestors. A group of Labrador Inuit they were recruited by Europeans to be taken to Europe to be placed in a human zoo in the 1800s. This really angered me, and I realized that my life is not much different today from our ancestors who were placed in human zoos. We're still treated like we're different, or that we're to be on display. And so I thought, I'm going to express this through my writing, through my story, through my power, through my voice, and I'm using that as one of my gifts. So this is not just for Indigenous students, this is for everyone who like to objectify Indigenous people. So this is my poem voice. I'm not your typical Eskimo. I'm not your idealistic, fur-wearing, meat-eating, sculpture-making, snow-building, exotic version of a sexy savage. I'm not your token Eskimo or Inuk. I don't exist to satisfy your perpetual curiosities, nor your insatiable settler consumption, nor for your viewing pleasure. Can you feel the chill of ice and snow flowing through my veins, invading your space this time? Continual contention with the performative display of my existence for your learning, for your entertainment. Objectification of my cultural practices, losses, and despair. And subsequent uprising does not perform for your eyes, nor your understanding. I exist outside of your perception of me, taking my power back. Mysterious personalities cannot be contained with your compartmentalized box projections. My ethnographic refusal, bound by generations of living histories, living stories, whispering secrets only I can hear. We protect the sacred, we preserve, we persist for and among ourselves. I will share what I want to share with you. These walls nor degrees do not validate or define me. And so I needed to write that poem because I was concerned about participating in a colonial institution that continually wants to use us for their own reasons. And I wanted to come back to the reason why I'm here. I'm here for my community. I'm gathering traditional knowledge for my community's well-being and healing. And again, so that's some of my history. And I expressed my anger, and I really encourage those, when you feel you're the only one and you feel burdened by the projections of others, know that you are not alone, and express your anger in a healthy way. Emotions are meant to be moved through. They're not meant to be suppressed or keeping you stuck in one place. And one of the ways that I knew this was I came to a path of sobriety. And I share that because I'm paying it forward. I had a friend who shared her life. She was living in sobriety, and at a time, I needed to see her story of living in her truth and her power. She just was living a sober life, and I looked to her and I said, wow, I look up to you, inspire me, because you're living the way of our ancestors who didn't have substances. I was committed to a process of listening to the ancestors, and I knew I needed to be clear-minded, so I gave up substances that were not serving my higher good. And I say that not to judge people, but to encourage you to recognize distractions and things that are not serving your highest good. So as Indigenous people, we know that Creator has given you special gifts to connect to all of creation. Our languages arise from the land, our stories arise from the land. And the truth is, you're more powerful than you've ever been shown as Indigenous people. We know we are related to all living beings of this earth. We are the land. And when we honor that, we're empowered. We stand in our power as well when we lift each other up rather than tearing each other down. Because one of the instruments of oppression is when oppressors get the oppressed people to start to keep oppressing themselves. Okay, they don't have to do it to us anymore. We're doing it to ourselves and each other. So I encourage you to lift each other up and support each other and be around people who are going to want to see your rising and want to see your growth and your healing. So let's stand with each other in our uprising. Empowerment starts with you. You are the ones who need to say the things you've been waiting to hear your whole life. Be proud of your identity. And lastly, I want to share this parable, Cherokee Two Wolves parable. I love this because I try to live this every day. There was a grandfather who said to his grandson, "There's a fight going on inside of me. I have two wolves. One is filled with anger, greed, apathy, and the other one is filled with love, humility, joy, and peace." And the grandson asks, "Which one will win?" The grandfather wisely answers, "The one that you feed." So I encourage you to spend time outside. The earth lovingly wants to communicate with you. She's a giant charging station. You come out here, put your feet on the ground, listen to her. So, and I end by saying that if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, that will be enough. So thank you so much.